gas there? Like, why?
I don't know.
Like, why would you ever go there on your own?
They should know better.
I go to Mirror Park every time now.
Gas? Anybody?
Two of them drove off. I just got it. He just, I don't know where he
Like,
went, to be honest.
See, there's certain things. I said this before. Like,
What are we looking for?
Driving?
there's a line where at a certain point it's
silver
your
color,
fault that shit
Sentinel
is happening. Like,
XS.
stop doing
Penny
dumb
52
bullshit to
strawberry
put you in a
gas, please.
situation where we have to drop
7223.
everything and go 78s on some bullshit.
Well, okay, like, okay, so I agree with you on the sense of, like, for example, Rooker the other day went down alone to the BBMC turf on a drug call, right? And not only that, but he had previously been incapacitated doing the same thing. So I agree with you that that is something that's like directly putting yourself in danger with no real reason except for you're just stubborn, right?
Yeah, if there's like a reason.
That being said, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that we should allow people to claim that a gas station a block from the hospital and 2 blocks from MRPD and 2 blocks from City Hall is like off limits to police. That seems absurd, and I think we should do something about that. If anything, I don't think we should stop going there. If anything, I think we should make a point of going there with numbers routinely and refueling together to make a statement about it.
Backup.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's also like right after the meeting. I'm sure some people just like don't expect to be immediately accosted.
They should. Shit.
Negative. There were 2 of them.
Yeah. Every time me and On Fire get gas, she pulls out her gun. I get the gas.
Oh yeah, I do that. I agree. You know, but
I disintegrated one here. I'm gonna be honest. I gunned him down. I don't know where he went. He's somewhere here, like.
My point of view is that I want to help cops
Tying the search up to the hospital,
do their job, and I want other people to do the same for me. I don't want to be a part of a department that focuses more on policing itself than policing other people.
Yep.
And right now, it honestly feels like that's the case. It feels like, for example, right? You know the seriousness with which like Slacks treated Lenny and Lenny's, you know, missteps. Well, then on the other hand, I've got like very good investigative information that shows that Lil Tugs was involved in the kidnapping at gunpoint of Slacks, myself, and Aziz, right?
Yeah.
And
it's insane to me we give him the time
well,
of day. He should never walk
but
in
here's
there.
the thing. When I said that to Slacks behind Maze Bank the other day, Slacks' response to me was, well, he's only 19. And then he said, well, it's been 30 days, hasn't it? And I said, how does any of that matter to why you're allowing him and enabling him to speak to officers and be like a serious candidate in the eyes of the PD for mayor?
Yeah.
Like if we're going to treat Lenny with such seriousness, you know, that, you know, we second guess every call he makes and every pit and everything like that, I'm okay with that if we apply the same seriousness and intensity towards the criminals, right? But we don't. So
we literally take it easy on them.
So
take
if
it hard on us.
Right. So I think that, in my opinion, I have no problem with having, like, for example, a strict culture, right? If you're gonna like 10-3 me for like speaking on the radio, right? I have no problem with that. But in my opinion, that culture only works when you're consistent, even-handed with it. Fairness and, you know, severity go hand in hand, right? So if we're not going to punish people who are like, you know, slow to go to 77s or, you know, spend more time, you know, doing paperwork than they do, you know, helping people out, don't go to priority calls, blah, 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 then I don't think we have room to be serious with people for like an SOP mistake. It's either, to me, it's either, you know, you do it one way or you do it the other way. You don't do like a mix of both that suits you when it suits you. That just seems like it'll create huge amounts of animosity.
Absolutely.
You said somebody had a bike in the vehicle,
I had a long,
right?
so to your point, I had a long conversation with Slacks
It'd be kind of easy to see him.
for like an hour before you know.
Yeah.
So, Declan, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you remember earlier that day...
Was the convertible closed or open?
Maple cut y'all off in a pursuit.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was there. I watched,
I don't think it opens.
I watched Kit Archer be the one to come lecture Lenny about that, which is incredibly tone-deaf by high command.
Oh,
I have to tell you what I told Slack.
Yeah.
I was in the
From
car with
top
him,
was done.
and he said
sorry,
this
I was
thing
receiving
happened. He's like,
medical
okay, I got to
treatment.
get someone to talk to him. I'll get Kit. And I said, hello, Slacks, what are you doing? Why are you having Kit go speak to him about this? You are high command. You are here. You are in the scenario. Why are you gonna have like there's like delegation and shit, and you got to give some people some responsibility, right? Like you can't do everything. I get it. But this is one of those times when earlier that day I told him, and this actually, I'll be honest with you, Declan, this goes for you and Bay too. Okay, and I'm not getting on to you, but I'm just telling you how I felt. I said I don't know what it is, but I have a hunch. But y'all got to stick up your ass.
You said a black
Especially Lenny,
two-door
more so than you and
right?
Bay. But
Silver
Lenny's got a
color,
bit of a stick up his
sentinel
ass lately.
access,
Somebody's
2
got to
times
talk to him to
occupied,
reel
both
him in
males,
because he
one with a
obviously
bicycle,
ain't being
no
himself.
shirts, masks, and
Like he's
saggy
not going out there and
jeans.
shooting up dadgum criminals and you know fighting for America. He's kind of like a dadgum.
Fuck, you
He
can break
just
off
ain't
and process
himself,
the evidence.
right?
Well, that's because
Somebody
that got
needs to-
stamped out of us.
Right.
We
which
tried
is
to
how
create
I
a
felt.
culture, and then it was stamped out of us, and we were shit on.
Right. Exactly how I felt for months, Declan. Like it was. I'm telling you, I still ain't the same. I still ain't the same. I'm just being honest. Like people still have a good time with me and whatnot, but like it is so hard for me to be myself. It's hard for me to be Cletus Cornwood because they don't want me to be Cletus Cornwood. They want me to be RoboCop.
But here's the
number
thing.
8.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, honestly, at the end of the day,
17223 evidence process.
there aren't enough
Dispatch copy.
responsible cops for anyone to be irresponsible.
Right.
And I am fully fine with becoming responsible. That's what I've been doing over the last week or so. I've literally been coming on shift, leading scenes, being serious, trying to participate in everything. You know, with the exception of that fucking treasure thing, but that, you know, that's a one-off.
But and as am I. That's the thing. Like that's.
But
I've had to do the same thing.
And it's like, you know, I'm never gonna stop like loving my Oshi and all that.
Have we received any reports of any vehicle?
But I understand if they need like, you know, people to demonstrate more
what do you mean by
leadership
that?
and set an
60
example for
vehicles?
people maybe who are newer and things like that of how cops should act and all that. My thing is like, okay, encourage that then. Why did no one ever come to me and say, Declan, like you seem really competent, blah 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 blah.
Received a 1060 call.
You know, can you, you know, you seem competent. Can you, you know, take more leadership? Can you try to do this? Can you try to do that? I've never been molded. I've never been guided. If anything, it's just been dismissive and, you know, critical. And I genuinely don't know if the culture in the LSPD is salvageable at this point. In my opinion, I think there needs to be a new culture built. Because I don't know. I just don't think that I don't think that it's gonna get solved anytime soon.
Declan, so what you just said to me is basically it's something I've been struggling with for a while now. What do you think about having 2 chains of command versus
Buck, just
1
tell me
chain
when
of
the report's
command
up, I'll put up
in
a
the
warrant.
sheriff's office versus the LSPD? You think we should have 2 different chains completely and just not have to deal with the bullshit? Because I'll just be honest with you, I don't think the biggest problem ain't necessarily high command. It's like it is a classic middle management issue. It's actually insane to me. It's the middle of the chain of command that is.
Well, I don't disagree. I mean, I told McNulty and Bones, I said to them, in my opinion, because McNulty said, "What do you think I could do differently to change your opinion about the LSPD being salvageable?" And I said, "What you could do is act more like an intermediary between high command and the grunts rather than a messenger." And what I mean by that is I feel like sergeants and seniors should be kind of like people who have been in the field for a long time and are so like experienced and capable that they've been promoted because they should be examples of how people should act as police officers, right? Like I genuinely feel that way about like McNulty and Bones, right? I think they're good like role models for new cops. That being said though, if McNulty and Bones just sit there and don't push back on high command, like captains and the chief and assistant chief, and they just kind of do their bidding, then there's no one really advocating for the common officer. And I feel like people probably should have advocated for Lenny at some point, because the reason why Lenny ended up having a stick up his ass, Cletus, is because we were out there every day, like by ourselves, like constantly, never getting any backup. And then Lenny would get called over and criticized by people who, you know, weren't there with him, weren't working, weren't doing to help him. And on top of that, he would get punished for things that weren't even like real. For example, that sounds strange, but for example, you know that one of the things Lenny got punished for was for shooting someone who stole a cop car. And Lenny's articulation was that the cop car could have like guns, equipment in it, etc., right? And it's, you know, it's like it's dangerous to let someone take that.
Right.
And so Lenny articulates that he shoots someone and he gets told that it was excessive force.
Dispatch copy.
So then he goes to a meeting where I had to wait for him to have this meeting, and Lenny gets told that there wasn't an SOP at the time that he did it, and there isn't one now, but command is now talking about creating one. But he's still going to be dapped because
the same shit happens.
it's excessive force. And so to me it's like, okay, so a cop makes a good faith effort to like, and here's the thing that really gets me is it's like what he did would most likely be considered like a good faith belief in court, right?
Right.
So if a court thinks it would be like a good faith belief and within the bounds of like his duties as an officer, and maybe it's like a poor judgment call, or maybe you could Monday morning quarterback it and disagree, right? But they don't find him to like violate someone's rights because, you know, he did what he thought was correct in the moment and he believed of the danger of that vehicle and all that. Well, then why are command deciding that he's, you know, wrong for that when there's no guidance on it? It just, overall, I don't know. I don't want to go in circles because I did this for like 3 or 4 hours with I did this for like 3 or 4 hours with Barrick in York the other day, but
in the hospital on the phone.
overall, I just genuinely believe that we don't have enough units to cannibalize ourselves, and it's
there's a Sentinel XS black and colored at the Crusade.
it's generally just becoming a problem where we're not stopping. If anything, it's just, it's gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, and then, you know, hearing like basically the fact that people feel that I'm not even like in consideration for senior because I don't respect authority, just is a reflection of the problem already.
You know, they effectively refuse to promote me.
Lanes of travel.
Yeah.
I've been told. They just refuse.
Westbound Olympic.
I told Barrick straight up. I said, literally, give me.
Going to be merging with La Puerta northbound.
I said, well, you're gonna get sheriff anyway. Then what? I said, well, then great. You got your
correct
wish.
lanes,
Got rid of the
northbound,
captain position.
La Puerta.
Demote Slacks to sergeant. Make me captain.
Can we get one
and
unit
I
to
will
break off
prove
of the
that
Going to the red garage.
that I can be in command. I did this shit 8 years ago.
Can we get a channel,
I
please?
can be in command. I went from
Southbound San Andreas.
cadet to captain.
Left, northbound.
And there were
Las
some
Lagunas?
people that were livid about it. But then by the time I was gone, and after I
Left,
left, everybody
westbound,
said,
Abe
damn,
Milton.
I wish Corn.
Oh, I thought we were getting gas.
Westbound, Abe Milton.
What'd you
Left,
say?
southbound,
What
Carcer.
did this guy say?
Channel 2 enable channel 2.
Coyle literally said SOPs exist for idiots. You don't need an SP to do something wrong. It's just there's the baseline for the worst cops. Meanwhile, all you guys harp on is it not being SOP. Sure. Let me like make this clear to you. The key factor there is not that it's not an SOP. The key factor is that it is something that can be very easily articulated from Lenny's side in character,
Yeah,
right?
Declan, I'll
that
tell
he
you,
felt.
You and I have.
He felt that, like,
there's
you know,
anyone you
officers'
bridge the
lives are
choir
gonna be in
about,
danger, or the public, or whatever.
I'm telling you,
And for them to punish him is basically
down to the
saying,
exact words. You're taking them from my mouth.
we think that you
I've been bitching and moaning and crying about all this shit for about 4 months.
we think that you made the wrong judgment call.
I cannot get anybody to listen. It seems like some people hear it, but
and our basis for that is just what we believe. But
So,
I don't think that
I went from being
that necessarily is like.
he suspended me 2 months ago. He said I was literally.
I don't think that's
the next
necessarily
guy on
the
the list
approach
to be
that is
promoted to
taken
senior.
overall.
I don't give a damn.
So
I do
again,
not give a damn. In the
I
slightest.
think that
I care about, look, I don't care about rank. I don't care about shit.
I don't think
I
that
just want to be able to do my job.
it's so
We
hard
are
to have
now
this
at a point
conversation at 2
to
points.
where I feel like I can't do my job,
I can't keep this
and
up.
we can't
Sterling,
do our
thank you
job
for the
unless I'm
tour.
in command.
Vehicle
genuinely
on
feel that
Strawberry
way.
and Innocence?
Because
We were
the
about to
same
do
thing
that.
that you feel, which is okay, you have to start taking more
Dispatch
leadership on
copies
scenes.
marking
Now,
traffic
you
at
have to,
2014.
you kind of have to not be who you really want to be.
My point is that
Disregard.
I don't know. I honestly, I'm trying to be productive and positive, which is why I was trying to give Barrick feedback about what I thought would improve things.
I think Barrick and Ruby get it. That's the crazy part. It's the
Dispatch copies
I
marking
don't know.
2020.
no,
I
know
don't think
it's the-
so. I think you're wrong on that. Because who's the middle? You think Bones and McNulty don't get it?
No, I think Bones and McNulty get it. I think
But who's the middle then?
I think
No,
Still not
yeah.
I think
having
Viv, and I think a lot of
EMS.
Viv, I think Slacks, I think like how was Denzel still the PPO? Like Den, they refused to promote Den. They said there's an investigation going on with something that happened between him and Willie Glory. I called Willie. I know Willie from years ago, and Willie said it wasn't a thing. It's said and done with. He said they got in some words and whatever. That happened
I don't
2
know.
weeks ago.
I can't speak on other shifts. I have no idea.
Right.
I went
I'm around all
to
the
shift
time,
one
so I know.
once, so I don't know.
Dealt with in the corner.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
around all the time. So
Give me 1 second. I gotta think about something.
Dispatch copies marking 36.
Okay, so what I was trying to articulate is that it's not about it being an SOP or not. It's about the fact that everything in the past of how this command has handled things has been, well, it's not about whether it's right or wrong in terms like morally or how we feel about things. It's about, did you follow the SOPs? There are multiple instances where command has hidden behind the fact that someone violated an SOP and said, yeah, as a cop or as a person, I agree with you. But you know, the SOP is this way, right? And the SOP was cited multiple times in multiple instances. But then in this case, they say, well, it's not about the SOP. SOPs are for retards. This is just, you know, you made a wrong decision. It's like, well, hold on. How is that consistent with your management style and your stated, you know, parameters, right? Overall, that's kind of the way that I,
right in the white
you know,
garage.
that's the way that I would talk about those.
One time.
Wait, what is everyone saying? 0 days?
Is it an older style vehicle?
Wait, what's 0 days? I'm
negative.
confused.
If I'm-
All right, retarded? Guys, I grew up in the 90s. I'm sorry. I try not to say shit like that, but it's gonna happen. You know.
Dispatch 130. Show me attached latest 38.
Dispatch copies.
I try, but
Betas
you
are
know.
off.
Listen, man, we said a lot worse things when I was a kid. Guys, I don't know if you like, some of you are Zoomers, right? So maybe you don't like understand this. Guys, we used to play a game at lunch in elementary school called Smear the Queer. And that was where one person had the ball and everyone used to like tackle and hit them and dogpile them. And then when they gave up the ball, the next person had the ball and you did the same thing to the person with the ball. We didn't understand what that meant. We had no idea what that reference meant. We had no fucking idea. We just thought it was a game. We didn't even know what queer meant. I didn't even know what the word fucking meant. I just thought it was a funny word. We had no fucking idea what that connotation was. You know, I mean, And yeah, we grew up and we learned about that shit and we became different people and realized that like shit was fucked up when we were younger. And now, you know, as a group, our generation has been part of the driving force for changing that status quo, right? And now those things are not used as much, and you know, there's good progress. Yeah. But the reality is that we, you know, we just didn't know.
There's something you got to be careful of.
I don't know.
This is something I've learned, unfortunately, is if you say the same shit I say, if you're saying things that are agreeable to my opinion around here, then it's probably not going to bode well for you.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware of that.
So yeah, best of luck to you.
The fact that I literally was not even considered for senior told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
Hug the gay person. Thanks,
Like,
woke culture. Yeah.
I will tell you
Right,
this,
Andy?
I
Remember
do
the good old
genuinely
days?
believe-
Remember the good old days when we just
when Barrett
used the
was
F swear all the
like,
time
he
and it was
on duty,
fun?
He was around. He was just on.
It's just,
That was
gosh,
for the
man.
first like 2-3 weeks of
That's
him being
that.
the
That
chief,
was the
but
funny
kind
part
of-
about the
from
MAGA
my
shit. Was like,
perspective,
wait, when
it
was
looked like he
America?
kept
When
getting
is
shut
this
down.
time we
It's like,
wanted
why
to
you
go
getting shut
back
down, you're
to?
chief? That's what I would ask.
It was like, wait, guys,
But
when
from
was
his
that time
perspective,
where
I
that was great? What time were we
personally
talking about exactly?
That it was,
Was that
too much.
was that the
He probably felt like it
40s
was too
or
much too quick, and he was
the
going against the grain of
20s
the rest
or
of
the
BDE too hard.
60s? What was the? Was that before?
put in those
Was
positions,
it black
seniors,
people or
whatnot.
women? What was the
And by doing
line?
so,
When was
he
it
didn't
great?
wanna
You know.
lose-
What,
he didn't wanna
where's the
lose
line? What
the
group?
trust of his
What
middle
group
management,
not voting was? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the whole thing with like the middlemen and all that, I feel like there's a lot of games of telephone that occurs. Like when I talk to Barrick,
Yes.
7-2 traffic, go for 10-8.
I think you need to understand too, like there was a whole thing that I just found out about that I'm gonna need to talk to Flop about with like a sergeant president or something. I didn't even know this, but apparently so there was a moment where I was standing in the cells after Lenny had shot Slacks, and I had talked to Barrick. I had been around the scene. I had been in the ER waiting for Lenny to get out of surgery and all that. Like I was there the whole time, and I think I made one comment in the ER, something about like, oh, now you guys are like acting tough and on, you know, on your guard, right? Like, cause you know, they were holding guns out and like being very professional. And I think Flop said like, not the time, Declan, so I just didn't say anything else. And then down in the cells, I said to Lenny like, hey Lenny, like maybe you should call for a bench trial and attorney, that way you can argue with Slacks and he can't tell you to 10-3 because it'll be in court and he has to let you talk. And you know, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, right? And I'm standing there, and then I realized that like, you know, I just been in a scene and, you know, I got shot, so I'm like taking stock of like, you know, my pockets and, you know, my armor and my magazines and all that. So I start like, you know, I bandage up and then I reload my magazines, and I look over and Flop's standing there with a gun out. Lenny's in the cell, still handcuffed. And I go, why do you have a gun out? And Flop goes, well, I'm in the cells with myself, Lenny, and Lenny's friend. And I said, okay. And he said, well, you want me to be completely honest? I don't feel comfortable. I don't trust you. And so I basically walked out and said, fuck you. I called him a useless cunt a couple of times. And then I got on radio and said 42 because officers are holding guns on me. And then, you know, basically ranted about Flop being a useless cunt and this is the hardest police work he's done in months. And then I went 42. And apparently, after relaying that story to Barrick and Bones, apparently Flop then lied to them and said that I was ranting in the hospital for 10 minutes straight. And that's what caused him to pull the gun on me. So now I have to sit there and, you know, call him out for blatantly lying in front of command. And I'm sure that'll be great.
Right.
But this is what I mean. The game of telephone where someone develops like a feeling about you because you called them out on not doing their job or not, you know, backing you up or whatever it is, right? And instead of being an adult and moving on and being like, huh, maybe that person's just giving me like tough love feedback because I was being a dickhead or whatever, which is exactly, by the way, like what you said to me, right? Like you guys had stick up your ass or whatever. And I said, yeah, exactly. Here's why. So,
right, exactly.
And you know, things like that should be fairly simple. Like the other day, Frost wasn't listening on radio. And so we get to the hospital and I said, hey Frost, make sure you pay attention on radio, because I called things out several times on that scene and then you just kept talking and ignored what I said, and then you specifically asked for the information I had already given. And then she said, oh, I didn't realize that. And I said, yeah, not a big deal, just trying to, you know, make things better overall. Don't worry about it, you know, we'll get them next time. And I genuinely feel like that doesn't happen with most people. What I feel like with most people is that they just like harbor this like deep resentment that then translates into them making flimsy complaints about officers that are actually doing their jobs. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Dispatch
boy.
111, 47 UTL. They
Declan, you know, you're not as much of a shithead as your grandpa says.
Dispatch copies, 1Q tonight.
Well, he's a fucking idiot. He thinks manga's like terrible.
Well, can't blame him. I mean, hell, when you know go follow in the damn family business and whatnot. And
What do you mean? You don't like American anime? You don't like King of the Hill?
I don't even. That's cartoon.
That's That's American anime.
Yeah, of course, I love King of the
King of the Hill, Inspector Gadget, the classics.
Dispatch 176, 34 in police.
This is
You
37.
get 177 on this?
Knife? Okay, hold on. There's a
That
deadly
blue
weapon call here.
Yeah, that's right
somebody
there.
selling from the barn at the from the side of the road again.
I know, 76 up there.
Hello. Hello.
Dispatch, show 100
how
on
are y'all
scene
doing
of that
today?
deadly weapon call of San Andreas. We've got 2 suspects on scene. Another one climbing down off the roof while screaming abort.
I'm just hanging out.
They're claiming to just be hanging out. Oh look, there's another one getting off the roof.
Is that what
Yes,
Yeah,
you're all
you
being
are.
detained.
Yeah, you're all being
We're
detained.
being
All for it.
detained?
They're all getting into a big SUV. There's
Okay.
4 of them, maybe 3 or 4. 4 of them.
All right,
They're
so
taking
sorry.
off. Active 80 northbound in an alleyway parallel to North Rockford.
120, 76.
It is a
130's already
cavalcade or something. Right, eastbound Red Desert, left, northbound North Rockford. Be advised, it appears to be, yes, we're double up. It appears to be 4 masked number 2 males continuing eastbound Marathon Ave. There were 2 of them down on the ground floor. When we pulled up, they started making wee-woo noises and yelling abort, abort, and then 2 men climbed down off the roof. Right, southbound Dorset merging eastbound. Continuing east while Rhodes attempts to politely ask them to stop. I'm sure they will consider it. Merging Las Lagunas, oncoming lanes northbound. Ooh, disobeying. Northbound Las Lagunas, crossing over Hawick. Crossing Spanish, heading up towards Eclipse.
We need 1 more unit for the shades.
Oh, they just
Hey, why'd y'all stop driving?
Because he told
Because
me
you
to
told us
over.
to.
Oh,
all
over
right,
here,
then
pull over.
get over with your hands up. Get out with your hands up.
We keep going.
Yep, pull it over.
Seems the individuals are pulling over.
Yeah, this may be a 38.
Which one are we doing?
Pull it over.
Get out with your hands up.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
They are now refusing again. They're reversing southbound, U-turn. They are oncoming lanes, southbound Las Lagunas. Correct lanes. Back in oncoming lanes, southbound Las Lagunas towards Rockford Plaza, right, westbound Rockford Plaza.
Dispatch, you get a
Channel 3, when able, channel 3.
Affirm. Exiting out of the Rockford Plaza, still westbound Carcer Way in front of the old City Hall.
Carla, take my place in Tersh.
Preparing for a left turn southbound Palomino, swerving towards the freeway on-ramp,
going around a
heading towards La Puerta. To be advised, one of the passengers was on the phone at some point during that sequence. Merging southbound La Puerta freeway, oncoming lanes. They're driving pretty slowly. They are connecting now to correct lanes of travel, heading towards lower La Puerta, parallel to the construction site. Continuing lower La Puerta southbound, approaching Innocence Merger, passing the Innocence Merger, heading towards upper La Puerta. Continuing upper La Puerta southbound, They've been going pretty slow. We'll probably hold off a little bit. Continuing southbound La Puerta, merging towards Miriam Turner overpass. Eastbound direction of travel. Be prepared for heavy traffic on the bridge here. Continuing over the bridge in eastbound direction. We are at the apex of the first bridge.
What's the status on PBS?
Not approved yet. They seem to be slowing down slightly. We'll see what happens once they get out of traffic. Continuing eastbound Miriam Turner overpass. We're on the downside of the first bridge. Approaching the turnoff to the docks. Stand by if they take the turn. They are not taking the turn. They're in oncoming lanes now. Back in correct lanes. Continuing to the apex of the second bridge. Intercept will be around the edge of the Cypress District and El Rancho. Continuing at a medium rate of speed, around 70 miles an hour in the correct lanes, eastbound Elysian Fields. Disembarking from the second bridge.
Drive faster.
Merging towards Elysian Fields northbound.
Drive faster so we can charge you.
Picking up speed a bit here, 90, 95 miles an hour. Continuing towards Elysian Fields, stand by for direction. Taking the off ramp, hard brakes, not sure what they're doing. Approaching the Fudge Lane area, merging onto Fudge Lane or northbound.
I'll roll with the vehicles as Sonia Summers.
Left, westbound El Rancho. Merging onto Capitol, westbound over the canals. Westbound into the city again. Crossing over the secondary set of canal. Oh, 1050 still mobile. We're gonna go ahead and authorize PBS. They're just slamming the cars at this point. Westbound on Capitol. Swerving back into correct lane. Stand by. Left, southbound Strawberry.
I'm ready to move.
Right.
When you get it.
A-firm. Right, westbound. Right, northbound Elgin. They're unsure where they're going here. They're counter pitting. They're onto Olympic. Oncoming lanes eastbound.
Right back. Oh, that was my bid.
Someone fell out of their car. Stand by.
This is awkward.
He's going to get back in the car.
Yes, we're on lead 3 if you want to join us, parallel.
Yeah, we can use one.
Lower Strawberry Gas, Metro.
All right, the other one's back in.
Where'd the other guy go?
Oh my God,
follow
I'm
William
Gas
down.
for parallel.
Where'd it go?
This one's down. The one that came out is down at
And
Strawberry
from
Gas.
okay, continuing east on the primary vehicle. Let's suspend pits for now. There is a guy hanging off the outside, so let's be careful with any pits or anything like that.
All right, 120. I'll go get some more units for 77 for the vehicle.
We are U-turning westbound Olympic Freeway. If McNulty, if you're on frequency, you can attach now.
I want to send this some.
No, it's on freak. We need assistance.
Yeah, let's get McNulty, who had offered earlier. Continuing westbound oncoming lanes.
What does it mean? All right, we gotta get on the
Just
right
to
side
make
of the
sure,
road.
since
Oh,
you're not on
shit, coming
frequency,
in,
Sarge, we are.
Don't
Oh,
do it,
okay, he's back in the car. Okay, we were holding off on pits because the guy was riding on the sideboards.
Highway.
But pits are now enabled again. He is in the car.
Ah,
Good pit, Cornwood, stand by. Oh, they might be going off the side. Oh, all right, they're on Lower La Puerta. Somebody get to Lower La Puerta. They just dropped off the top of the ramp.
130.
Unknown
That one's
status.
for money.
No eyes. Cornwood sending it. Anyone have eyes?
Attempting to gain visual.
The visual in North La Puerta or
They're flipped on the side of Lower La Puerta. They're trying
All
to
right.
flip the vehicle.
Holy shit.
Tase that guy flipping. Tase him.
He's been tackled for cops.
Holding lethal for McNulty. 178 has lethal for McNulty.
You got it. Copy. Going for Cubs.
Don't beat my ass.
Going for Cubs. You ready? I'm going. I'm gonna do it.
Don't do it.
195 for McNulty. Are there anybody else still in the car?
When I'm staying mobile for that frost.
There was one other person. Where are they?
We
There
have
was two.
one
I think they're
tackle
dead.
going for cuffs on the one, the
You
first one.
fucking killed them.
You resisted.
Where is Frost? Where's your 20, Frost?
We're running
Going
westbound.
to
Zappa.
construction site.
A firm.
111 staying mobile, we're continuing westbound Adams Apple Boulevard.
I'm gonna
jumping
stay with
over
McNulty.
into the construction site.
Sir, you want to tell me what you're doing with this thick, veiny, hot throbbing
We're
raw
now
sausage?
running westbound into the construction site. Stand by. Still running westbound. We're lower in the construction site, inside yet. One tackle going for cuffs.
Going for cuffs.
They're good.
You resist this, you're
It's holding lethal. Suspects running to the north. Attempting to get into a police car.
Locked.
Alright.
He's surrendering.
Alright, get your hands up. Hands up. Alright, going for cuffs.
I locked it.
He surrendered. 195. So we had what was that? 4 in the vehicle. 1 got knocked out on the swap out of Olympic. We have McNulty has 1. Frost has 1. Where's the 4th?
I've got the one who jumped off.
Yeah, but that's 3. We have an outstanding suspect, so everyone be on your toes. Likely he ran away when they were trying to flip the car, unknown, but we did have 4 and we only have 395s. Let's check bushes in the area. If you don't have a 95, let's check bushes in the surrounding area of the car flip.
Code 6
Awesome, I'm coming back to you. But y'all have a car actually. Never mind, y'all are good.
Never.
120 and 23. See with the 195, 47.
Yeah, let's keep code 6ing. If you don't have a 95, let's get the triage set up here under La Puerta. But we do have an outstanding, so
There's no medical on dispatch.
come out, come out. I see you. Just like saying that. Thanks, Jess. Enjoy the work.
If we have no EMS on duty,
That seemed pretty
we'll go
quick to
ahead
start pitting that aggressively.
and document 'em.
I held off on pitting or
document 'em
authorizing
and then we
pit for a
can,
while, but when they start slamming into people in intersections, then it becomes questionable. Bro, this bush is just like purple. I thought this was a person in here, and then I realized the whole
I
bush
can
is
also treat
purple.
'em. I
Isn't that
can just
weird?
Let me document all their shit, and then I'll.
172. What's this stemming?
This was a 37 off San Andreas, likely HVAC related. There were 2 of
Copy.
them in the car, and then 2 of them came down off the roof.
Hey, where's the? Wait, I see someone running. Oh, it's on fire. Where's the third guy? That we got in the construction site?
He's standing here. He's the one there.
Yeah, we're still
He's
missing
the one
one.
standing next to, like, standing right here. Corwin.
I don't know where this
yeah.
fucking last guy went.
I just retrieved 3 HVAC components from the trunk.
Is he in the car?
Triple one, what's your 20?
You can just pull it out if you want.
Yeah,
Don't pull out my schmeat.
I have no idea where the fourth guy went.
You leave my raw sausage on me.
Alright, we have a 95. Let's go.
Nice.
All right, so I guess we're UTL on the fourth suspect, unknown.
Liam, you got the other guy at Crusade right now?
A farm. Yeah, he's in bed.
Okay, so bring him back to the cells, and we can process these guys, and we'll call it a day.
They're taking the glycerin.
I can treat these guys.
120, I'm
Alright.
ready to roll to CMC with the 95s.
Vehicle was documented and processed and marked.
I'm gonna mark it right now. What do you guys want me to mark it for? Reckless or?
Is it personally owned?
It comes back to a Sonia Summers.
Yeah, just reckless evading.
If I get out of jail and I don't see my sausage on me, You better hope I don't ever see you again.
Yeah, I have no idea where that last guy went. I mean, we had no eyes, right?
Fuck, he's taking.
Could
my
have just
sausage.
booked it. There's a million places. I mean, people didn't really listen to what I said about spreading out and checking bushes. Like, it's very possible this guy's like, you know, long gone by now, which is highly likely the case. There's a small possibility he's like right around
good shit,
here
y'all.
somewhere.
Here, actually,
Less likely.
Frost, I can go ahead and take the other guy too, so we don't have to, you know, take everybody out there. We can get back out on patrol. Myself on fire, and Declan can wrap this up, and then I'll put the report up.
Less likely he's in a bush or something. That guy is probably just gone. But there were definitely 4, so. Gig alone? Yeah, I know. Declan's the main character, though. You gotta remember, like, one of the traits I have to use for him is that, like, he's, like, overly confident, right? And it's gonna lead to him making mistakes, but that's, you know, part of
Do
the
you want us to
character.
come and assist hospital, or do you want us to go back on channel 1 and 10-8?
Y'all will be good. Just Liam will take his guy to the cells, and Lenny can. Shit.
He's gonna shit in the cells? What?
Declan on fire, and I can handle the rest.
I can handle 2 of them, but
All
I
right,
won't.
collapsing
I'm
the
willing to
channel,
share.
going back to channel 1 for processing.
Hey, what's good? Man, that guy's breath stank over to the left of my friend here.
123, I'm gonna wait for tow by the Lola Porta vehicle by Sonia Summers that was used to
Probably my
evade.
sausage. It got cooked when they tased it.
Dispatcher
shit.
1.
They were trying to take
Eat
it
it.
away.
10-8.
Dispatch copies. Mark you 10-8 at.
That's our food, bro. They
031.
better not. That's
My
like all we got to
original
eat.
intended
found
competence
the
level
meat
for
in the trunk,
Declan was
too.
very low.
No, not
As
the
soon
meat.
as I
That's literally
realized
our
the
food
PD
for the
was in a
whole
bad
month, bro.
place,
$95 for that.
76
as soon as I realized the PD was in a bad place, I started making him more competent because that's what PD needs. Does not getting promoted handicap you? No. I honestly,
Hands down,
OOC
worst truck driver I've ever
rank
seen in
really
my
doesn't
life.
fucking
Just
matter.
saying.
I'm just gonna tell you
You're
right
talking
now.
about yourself?
OOC rank
Jesus
really
Christ.
does not
Stop.
matter in PD.
Oh shit.
Swear.
Jalen, you gotta be careful.
I'm
I
okay.
led
You didn't
scenes
hurt me.
all throughout
I know, but
3.0.
you're
I led
scared.
shootouts. You know, I did whatever. And the highest I was ever on any cop was a senior on Wesley and was a ranger, right? You rank really does not matter for leading scenes. The truth is that competent people end up leading scenes because they have the ability to like stay organized under pressure. That's just how it is.
Yeah, but I need my hands so I can get to my phone and then.
I hit another cop with it too. Hey, I hit 2 of them. I got 2 of them. Hey, yeah.
Alright, just
Yup,
make sure
let me
you
get
guys
one more
at
of
the
them.
gas station,
Me.
on 6
You know what I mean? All of us. We need to all just kind of find common ground. You know what I mean?
You
You
gotta
gotta
go
go
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, can you
It's
speak
just
up,
getting-
Fredo? We can't hear
If
you.
you want to use the gas station, you gotta pass the hood test.
Fredo, can you speak up?
Okay.
You're kind of
He's kind
quiet.
of muttering to himself. You know what I mean?
Next time I see you.
Yeah, you're really
Just kind of
quiet,
muttering
Fredo.
under his
Just
own
can't
breath.
hear you.
I think he's being passive aggressive instead of just coming out and saying what he wants to say. I think he's being passive aggressive.
You are looking
about
at
it,
20
you know what I
minutes, so I'm
mean?
gonna knock you down to 10.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to kill them.
Alright, cuz.
That's
All
like
right.
5
I'm just gonna
times
wait here.
criminal case
I'm
right
gonna send you up all at once.
They could let us go, cuz. You can send me up.
What do you want?
You're so quiet, Fredo.
Just send me up, cuz.
Oh, Kazoon-tight! I heard a little cough. Did you hear a little cough? Kazoon-tight, sir.
I think the bus outside, cuz.
Yeah, Fredo's mad because I called him out for having fake ass glass from the middle of the mall.
How many I got right now?
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Fake ass Tiffany dunks.
Oh shit. No, keep going.
Oh my
keep going, keep
gosh.
going. I was admiring that. Keep going.
Yeah, I love you too, Fredo. It's good to see you, buddy.
This is what I'm saying. We need to fight common
Hey, did
ground.
you
We need
guys,
to learn to love each other.
Fredo's really not a bad. You know his name's Frederick. Like he probably has a really good family.
I know. That's what I said. Frederick.
Yeah, Frederick. He
You
probably
know what?
probably went to like prep school.
You know what it reminds me of? Frederick reminds me of? It's Franklin the Turtle. You remember those books? He's like,
oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it. It's kind of like you can need your own children's book series. Is what you need, Frederick.
My cousin's name like that, cuz.
With Frederick?
I love you.
Frederick? What's wrong
well,
with
on
Frederick?
5-0, that's his name on Big Community Cup.
Yeah, you ain't in the community,
Yeah,
cuz.
what
You
he
can't be
said.
saying that
No,
shit.
it's the cop community on Big 5-0.
Fuck the cop community, cuz.
That's Big
Y'all
5-0.
gonna
Yeah,
die
that's Big
each
5-0.
time, cuz. That's Big
If I
5.
go
Yeah, that's
live
Big
for
5-0.
tracking.
Big
Seriously,
5-0.
though,
Big 5-0.
Frederick, you
Yeah,
need to
that's
talk
5-0
about
up in
to
here.
a
That's Big
publisher about
5-0.
getting a children's book made.
Ain't no way y'all did that shit, cuz. Ain't no way y'all did that shit, cuz.
I put that on the dead homie, Sam Bass, dog.
You calling my cousin an animal now, cuz?
Oh, man. It's too funny. Oh.
Alright, cuz, I'm good.
Broken again. There we go.
I won't, cuz.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying that. That's on 176. That's on 176, comp.
Kenny Cushman. What's the other guy's name?
Hell yeah, cuz. Hell yeah, cuz. On 6-0. On 6-0, cuz. Hell yeah.
Yup, knock her ass out too. Yup.
Maybe a sheep. Maybe like a little cute sheep. Hey! Frederick! Knock it off, Frederick. Hey, whoa, Cornwood!
Yeah, beat his ass. The copper's ass. Oh, shit.
Miss you. Hey.
Not gonna happen to losers.
Dispatch 120 out of my
Spider-Man, have a good night.
vehicle, Strawberry gas station.
Let's see. I want to read these other statements. No other statements. Interesting. Bum 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 bum. Where's my music, bro? Where's my music?
123 escorting Sonia Summers' vehicle used in the most recent northbound Bay City app.
Shout out to the shout out to what I'm sure will be an inevitable Reddit thread about Declan shooting Finley Milton.
Sorry about that. Does David Summers not have a profile?
This one goes out to all those chatters that are
Got a new customer.
offended about their character getting shot.
Dispatch 113. Should channel 3 collapse 10-8. Dispatch copies. Marking channel 3 collapse to you 10-8 at 148.
Oh, there is a thread? Nice. Sounds good. God, I'm shocked. That's crazy. That's so wild.
Does anybody know if...
That's so crazy.
I was asking, do y'all remember who the was in that last
Come crashing down. What you did, I already know. I found about him Yeah, I want to see how that spun from "I will kill you" to like, I'm sure it's gonna be spun to be like, he just said that like, he would do something. It's just, what are these fucking cops doing? I don't know.
Dispatch 10-876, 911.
Dispatch copies Raccoon Route at 144.
To cry me a river. Cry me a river.
How do you like doing constructive possession if the like HVAC parts are in the car itself, and there's 4 people in the car, right? 4 people in the car. Do you charge one person with the stolen goods, or if there's like 3 stolen goods, do you charge one for each one, or how do you do that?
I don't think we can really articulate which guys jumped off the roof. So you give them the option, either take responsibility for the stolen goods, like whoever was driving. And if they don't, then they all get accomplice, right? Because it's...
So the possession of stolen goods charge, I think, changed, and there's no accomplice anymore. It's just
all right. Well, then they just all get it.
Okay.
So like, it's either one person takes responsibility or they all get it. That's how like stuff in cars works, I think, right? Like if we find drugs and there's 2 people in the car, it's like, all right, either you both get it or one of you gets it, right? It's like, because if we can't prove who was in possession, then they both are.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I just wasn't sure because there was no accomplice. If there was something different with it.
Who's 95?
David Summers.
95. That's named Joe.
76
Who's the
Linton
officer?
for
Processing.
potentially 37 Charlie.
Yeah, that wasn't a part of our scene.
No, he was a part of it. Is it me or is it one of you two?
I'm like running through it real quick, but actually, do you
Oh, she's done, so I guess I'll be leaving. Has Declan had to articulate any weed sales charges? Couple.
Here, I'm just gonna make sure everybody is we call this an AOE Mirandize. Everybody who is here has the right to remain silent.
Oh my god, I gotta turn radio down. That's crazy.
Yeah, the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you if one is available. Do you understand these rights? I've read them to all of you. Everybody says yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank y'all. Just making sure everybody's AOE Mirandize.
I felt the AOE. I got it.
Okay, good.
Which one? This one?
Yes, yes.
How are you gonna put that loser in here with me? Oh God.
I'm gonna have to figure what the hell's going on with this. I can't get you any smokes, all right? I don't have any. I'm not gonna bring you to get your. They're bagged up. They're sealed.
What do you want? What do you want?
I can't.
Is competence in the PD mostly OOC or in character griefing?
Nice.
Most incompetence in the PD is not role played. Most incompetence in the PD is not role played. Unfortunately, it is very hard. I've had this discussion with people before. I'm not going to say who, but there was a character in 3.0 who I felt, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I assumed that the person was role-playing incompetence, okay? And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. And I said, if that's what they're going to role-play, then it should be addressed directly. Don't try to guess who it is, because you're going to be wrong. So I said that, and my suggestion was this person, and I was in like FTO and all that at the time. I think it wasn't even FTI at some point. And I literally said, this person should not be a cop. If they can't demonstrate basic competency, they should not be a police officer. And I said, but if it's their choice to role play that, right? But they just shouldn't be a cop. And I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. And then later, like a long time later, we're talking like months and months and months, I was talking to someone who is friends with this person in real life, and they said, no, they're not role playing incompetence. They're just like a potato at video games. They're just not good mechanically at video games, and not good mechanically, like terrible, right? at video games. And so they want to role play a cop, but they're just like so bad at the mechanics that it comes off as them like role playing being incompetent, right? But when they get criticized for that incompetence, it really gets to them because they're trying their hardest OOC, but they're not, you know, it's not going well, right? And I'm like, well, that's really hard because on the one hand, I don't want to be mean to anyone and cause them to feel bad about like their ability to play video games. But on the other hand, how do I, guys, you're all still wrong. Stop guessing. But on the other hand, I'm role playing my character and I'm just acting off of what I see in the game. And this opened up a bigger discussion, like privately in a Discord, where we were talking about like the idea of like, you know, what if someone really, really, really terrible with driving? Does that mean that they can't be a cop, right?
I mean, hell, it does feel like.
Are you trying to hit Declan? What are you doing?
Does that mean they can't be a cop? Does that mean that they're incompetent? What if someone's really, really bad at like articulating themselves and public speaking? Does that mean that they can't be a cop because they can't go to court and defend their charges? So it created a discussion where we were kind of reevaluating how we look at people. And ultimately the answer we came to was just that, you know, it's just tough. And I said, look, my character experiences things in the game, and then my character makes opinions about other people and their characters, right? So when my character says, I think so-and-so is incompetent and they shouldn't be a police officer, I'm just responding to the stimuli I'm getting in roleplay. And if it's not roleplay and it's mechanics based, then that's really tough, but I don't think it changes the opinion my character would have. It might make me want to act on it less, right? It might make me want to not have that opinion cause someone to get fired. Maybe I feel bad and think, you know, maybe they should be given like, you know, the chance to like just be like a passenger princess, right? Like maybe they should just never drive and just only ever, you know, that kind of stuff, right?
Possibly.
But then we get into conversations about like self-inserting, and it's very tough. It's very hard. So I don't know.
Hey, people in the cells, you guys been paying attention to that corn talk?
That can be very difficult, right? So I don't know.
We should call it something else.
The corn talk?
No, it sounds like you said corn cock. Like corn cock vibe.
Interacts how it interacts with Barrick, saying he doesn't want to finish the fixed communications OC because it's a better RP. Yeah, that's valid. Sometimes you don't want to have perfect comms, right? As long time GMDM, I like your stream. Thank you, man. I try to provide a perspective where people think more about like the dynamics that exist rather than just what's on the surface, right? Because it can be very easy to react to certain things on NoPixel if you're only looking at the surface, but there's always more variables to it. Like there's always more going on.
Come here.
So I don't know.
But I know it's gonna happen again next time.
I'm sorry. This is all my fault. Let's make amends now. Not fight later.
Okay. You want to go tell them why they're getting the charge?
Fetpool, thank you for the bits. But yeah, I don't know, man. But see, that's part of where I think that's where I would struggle with the idea of whether it's okay to, how do I phrase this?
On Joe.
That's where I would consider or not whether it's okay to to intentionally allow like miscommunications and shit to continue. Like, is it better for the pure roleplay? Probably. But is that going to cause like degradation of like numbers on duty? Probably, right? It's very tough. I don't know.
Agreed.
I
8
think
charges.
Yeah, me too.
No. We need to relax now.
the mayor just kidnapped Mithril to force him to
He got
vote at
doubled up
City
on it for
Hall.
some reason. Wait, what the shit?
It's happening with all the charges.
It's doubling all the charges.
If you get really close, you can listen to what they're saying.
Crew was on patrol with 134A on fire and 100 Cletus Cornwood when they came upon 2 men next to an SUV on the scene of a suspicious activity call. The men immediately began yelling "wee woo" and "abort" until 2 other men descended from the rooftops nearby and got into the SUV. The SUV fled, eventually being pitted, dropping off 1 man on Olympic Freeway and eventually being pitted.
My tablet shut off.
Yeah, I think
Lower La Puerta near Calais.
Probably got EMP.
Turtling off Lower La Puerta near Calais.
Weird shit going on.
The men scattered and officers
Okay, you know what?
were able to apprehend 2 more of them.
Joe's right.
The 3
Okay, so David and Kenny have the same charges.
charged for having
If you just want to
stolen
present the
goods,
charges,
HVC
Kenny and
equipment,
David and Kenny have the same charges. You just want to go present them, and I'll fix the MPT for you like that. Okay.
to Sonia Summers.
David and Kenny.
Yeah, David and Kenny have the same charges. So if you want to talk to David and Joe here, Kenny's in the other room.
Are you talking to me or Crane?
No, I'm talking to you.
He's in this room.
All right, I got my statement up. Cornwood, I think I'm heading out if you're good. I got my statement in there.
Okay.
I'm tired. I'm going out.
Yeah, I feel you. Give me about 5 minutes here in a second. We'll wrap this up, and I'll just
Yeah,
give you
cool.
5 minutes when I talk to you.
Up to me, son. Uh-oh.
Go ahead and
Uh-oh. Nathan, you have extremely famous and handsome Snow. Please stop what you're doing and do what he asks, Snow.
You can go ahead and
Shift 2 and 3 seem wild.
Yes, sir.
Today was interesting, Snow. We had a very interesting Maze Bank scenario where we had like 3 people on duty to start the scenario.
Hey, Declan.
And we had kind of a scuff shootout with some
So,
desync. Hello.
This is the guy with the white hair there. He's like the. Do you know which one was calling out wee woos when you came on scene?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. We pulled up. It was a dark alleyway with barely any lighting. There were 2 men who were both masked up, wearing black, who then were crouching behind the SUV. So I'm being honest with you. I could not discern which person was which whatsoever. I doubt anyone else could really either. At the end of the day, there's the driver who's getting the reckless evading, and then everyone should be basically getting the possession of stolen goods, unless one of them cops to it. It kind of feels like, because 2 of them came off the roof, right, and there were stolen goods in the back of the SUV, which they all got into. So it kind of just feels like we just blanket charge them, besides the driver getting reckless evading. With resisting and possession of stolen
what I'm getting
goods.
from my client is that I'm guessing the other 2 individuals in the cells over there, those are the other people part of the scene, correct?
Yeah, we apprehended 3 of the 4.
Okay.
So one was
My
outstanding.
client that's right there is claiming that before all this happened, he was kidnapped and told to get into a car. He was also taken, I assume, by those individuals over there. I don't know who else is involved.
No, I'll just. I understand where you're getting at here. I will say to you that at no point did any of them ever have a weapon out. At no point did any of them ever identify as being kidnapped. In fact, at multiple points, the vehicle came to a dead stop during the chase. There was one point where they came to a dead stop on Olympic Freeway, and one person got out and ran down the stairs, which the officer
jumped
next to
off
me
and ate
chased.
shit. That was
Well,
him.
he ate shit. So that was never claimed to us ever, nor did the person act upon that, aside from getting out and fleeing even further.
Yeah, when you're the first person to bring up the kidnapping, so I wasn't even me being the processing
I can only
officer.
go by what I'm told by
Understood.
my client.
And I will tell you also that when we pulled up on scene, no one was in the car. The two of them were crouched behind the car, began yelling wee woo, got into the car, and then two men, after they yelled wee woo and abort several times, came down the ladders and got into the car, and then they all fled together. In fact, one of them fell off the car at one point during the chase and then got back in. I mean, there was absolutely nothing ever to indicate that anyone was a hostage or under coercion or anything.
Okay. Then, McMahon, I think my analysis of what I originally told you was correct, and that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
See,
Yes.
the thing is, yeah, they all.
Anyways, no. So yeah, we got in kind of a scuff shootout. We only had like 6 units on duty when the chase started from the bank. Bones had them crash out after a couple swaps. Somebody flew out of the car incapacitated. Bones said they're probably going to shoot here. They did. He went down. We were screeching up like as the shooting was occurring. There was a weird thing with desync in a bubble where the tip of my car accidentally hit one of the suspects. I don't know who. I got out, didn't shoot, waited until they got up, and like the scuff resolved itself. And then eventually we all got shot down except for like one person. And then right before Storm, we had that other chase, and yeah, that one was kind of strange because I went to tase. So basically we boxed a car. The female was I don't remember what happened. We boxed the car. The female then ran on foot. She had a broken leg. She tried to get into a muscle car with the same guy who had tried to get into her car prior. I ran ahead of her because she had a broken leg. I tried to tase the guy out of the muscle car because he's going really slow. I miss. I hit the door. The guy then yells, "What the fuck are you doing, hero cop? Like, are you fucking stupid? What are you doing, you hero cop? The door's closed."
Okay, well,
so then he says, I will kill you. So I pulled out a gun and pointed it at him. And I said, threaten me again. And then he angrily yelled and reached for something. So Declan shot him. Yeah. So yeah, today's been weird, man. Today's been something. Today has been something.
Like the opposite. Which I don't know what that means because I only know what negligence is.
When did that happen?
You're gonna have to get over it.
Right before the meeting. It was like 5 minutes before the storm, which is why I was so shocked that someone was like trying to call me like a hero cop or something. I don't, anyway. Anyone that's played No Pixel for a while knows that hero cop is a dog whistle for W Chaser and all this other OOC bullshit. So I'm not surprised by any of that. It is classic.
You choose to do this, but we're trying to give you the best option here. In fact, even I mean, Liam here is even willing to drop trespassing, which is I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I was first on scene.
No. It's alright. But yeah, I don't know. Today's been weird, man. Also, Declan's in a very weird spot with like the RP with command right now. The whole thing with like Lenny and Flop holding the gun on him and all that, like that's still kind of unresolved. Declan's had pretty good conversations with like Barrick and Ruby and Bones and McNulty about that kind of stuff. But the whole thing with Flop has not really been resolved, so that's still ongoing. And then Declan found out today that he wasn't even considered for senior, which means like, you know, he's now like questioning command again. So it's kind of circular, I think, you know, kind of circular. Because I think McNulty said the reason the Declan wasn't considered for senior was that they think he doesn't respect authority. And it's like, well, that's definitely a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So it's been interesting. All right. The big issue is people take your feedback personally. Very true. And one of the things I've struggled with over the years in No Pixel on PD or role playing is that I often forget that I come from a background of like competitive sports, right? I did judo, wrestling, you know, jiu-jitsu, you know, Muay Thai. I did a lot of stuff that was, you know, physical and competitive and, you know, even gaming, right? I always played like Counter-Strike and always stuff that was based around competition. And there, you know, there was a lot of shit talking and a lot of like, you know, judgment and, you know, it's just a lot of, you know, fucking aggression basically. And I function pretty well in an environment where feedback is like very direct and very aggressive and very straightforward, right? If you know, are being a cunt and someone thinks you're being a cunt, they tell you you're being a cunt, right? And sometimes you get fucking angry. Like, I've had arguments with some of my best friends from Counter-Strike teams who I've known for, you know, 20 years, right? From playing Counter-Strike together when we were younger. And we used to have like screaming matches on like Ventrilo and shit, where we'd fucking just go at each other, right? Just fucking scream at each other about like, you know, whatever the fuck. It's just stupid shit. Like some of it was over the dumbest shit possible, right? Like there was one time, and I've told this story before, there was one time where I had two friends on my Counter-Strike team. This is a great one. You guys will like this. Two friends are on my Counter-Strike team. Most of them were fresh off the boat, Asian American immigrants who were like first generation, right? And they mostly lived in like Bed-Stuy in New York, and they went to like these magnet, you know, schools for like math and science basically. And we had a situation one time where we were all playing AIM map in CS one night, literally just like a Friday night. We're up super late playing AIM map. It was for like 11 p.m. my time, like 2 a.m. Eastern, right? And two of these kids get in a fucking huge argument, and they were really good friends. They lived like a couple blocks from each other. They went to the same school. They played CS together. They were good friends, right? But they got in this huge fucking argument. You're a dog shit. You're a bot. You're a fucking noob. All this kind of dumb shit, right? And it literally got to the point where one of them got so angry with the shit talking that he went to the other person's house and like broke the Buddhist talisman that his parents like had over their door or whatever. Because I don't know if you guys know like Chinese culture, but some of the there's like these little Buddhist things they like keep on their door frame that's supposed to like ward off like bad shit, whatever. So he like goes over the other kid's house, and you can hear over Ventrilo, because the other kid's holding down his mic, you can hear the guy outside his house like yelling and banging on the door and shit, right? And it's just like, it's just very funny. But so all of that is meant to show that I come from an environment growing up where it was, you know, very like male aggressive, very type A personality, right? Like very direct. Okay. My wrestling coach was an ex LAPD SWAT officer. You know, my judo coach was a guy who, you know, lived in Japan for, you know, decades and was very, who Jesus, who was very like very serious and formal. You know, that's kind of what I grew up with. And I always found that very productive to move on from things, right? You kind of just give direct feedback. You don't worry about feelings. You focus on productivity and you move forward. Unfortunately, and here's the big but, what I and a lot of people that roleplay on No Pixel need to remember is that not just some, but in fact, a large portion of the people that play on this server might come from a background that has nothing to do with anything competitive or performance based in their life. It is very possible and likely that some of the people role playing on the server who get into cop, whether they start off as like EMS or civilian role players or anything, I mean, they might have come from like fucking The Sims or something, right? They might have come from playing WoW, where all they do is like looking for raid and, you know, pet battles, right? I mean, it's just the reality. So it is hard then when giving feedback in character over like, you know, serious situations to recognize how to deal with each individual personality. And it can be very difficult to set an applicable standard that makes sense.
I know you gotta get bed. Here.
Yeah, what's going on?
Real quick. Just so everybody doesn't hear us. Bottom line is this. I hear you, and I feel very much how you feel. More than you know, probably. A lot of the same exact words, even that you've used, are the same words that I've used when trying to communicate and talk to folks. I don't know. There's still definitely more we need to talk about, but it's just way too the damn hell late to talk about it. But hopefully the sheriff election happens in the next few weeks and we can get things fixed. Because right now, there's just too much. There's still too much red tape in places where there don't need to be red tape, and there's not enough enabling of good, proper behavior and good police work and really good culture, which is really what this comes down to. So
yeah,
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Those of us who get it need to really stick together and I know you tried with Lenny. I know you did. But we got to try and really, really spread that and establish that because there's a lot of good ones. There really are. It's just that there's inhibitors.
I just think that, you know, these people aren't like they're not trying to build anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or they think they are, but I don't fucking. I'm going to bed. I'll talk to you later, Cletus.
Yeah, we'll talk later. But
yep. See ya.
I got your back. I do.
Yeah, I don't know. 311 178 1042. Voting, blah, 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 blah. Since you've been gone. ADMC world domination. Declan has not voted. I'm probably just gonna do that off stream or something. Alright guys, I'm fucking exhausted. Yeah, Zypha, I feel the same way. My criticism of myself is the harshest because I'm always trying to think of what I could do better. And that mentality can sometimes lead to applying that to other people who are not conditioned for that kind of feedback. And it can cause animosity and issues, which is something that, you know, is an interpersonal dynamic that requires some self-reflection and emotional awareness to, you know, work through. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm going to bed. I'll be around tomorrow. Probably around on like Alan Crane sometime during the day. Might stream some Dota tomorrow during the day. I don't know. We're gonna see. Love you guys. Go say hi to Alice Watson. Two Chains. Man, go say hi to Two Chains. Does Baldy have a docket time after Lenny? No fucking idea. I don't even think he goes to that case anymore because it's the PD pushing it. Leak the results in Moon's meta chat. I already know the results, and I'm not telling you or Moon. Good night. See you.